Oh, really? Public structure is my favorite act structure.
And this was why you need to read Shakespeare. I swear to God.
I've been fighting a lot of really stupid fights this week, and I
I've been
gotta be
fighting
honest,
a
this would
lot
be
of-
the stupidest fight I could fight.
In hindsight, you're like, yeah, this is why your bathroom is like
This is why you're all dying of like mold.
mildewy and grimy. Yeah. Coffee. Am I right?
Coffee, man, coffee.
I am so serious. I 100% thought you said cock. Am I right? Because I was trying to listen to something in the background to make sure it was working. And I was so confused for a second that why the hell Noah would jump on that joke. I was very confused. Welcome back to Off the Air.
Dan, what's going on?
Why does that? Why does your mind always go to the worst thing first instead of coffee, which is an incredibly common word to say?
Yeah, I was kind of going for like the don't talk to me before I've had my coffee. Am I right, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
But how do you guys like coffee?
I like
I
coffee. I find it
Like how do you like it prepared?
Oh, I see.
What's your preparation method, preferably?
I like a little bit of cream, enough to help color it a little bit, but not like Tim Hortons latte level of cream. And sometimes I'll go with a little bit of sugar, but sometimes it's just cream. I don't know. It depends on the day.
I've never had a Tim Hortons latte, but I am curious because I was going to be like, well, actually, a latte usually uses milk unless it's a breve, and you typically it's espresso, not coffee. But I have no idea what they do at Tim Hortons.
So I was just going on like, a Dunkin' iced coffee, something like that level of milk,
if you will.
Yeah, like that level of milk.
The Dunkin' really
not what I'm going to go
only
to.
coffee that I really drink.
Yeah, that's a little much for me on my like average coffee. However, if I'm going to be having a good time, I like to do that with with a little bit of cinnamon, maybe cocoa powder, and some sugar syrup. Stir it up in a big ass glass of ice.
I see it.
It's a good time.
Yeah, you're an iced coffee consumer, correct?
I generally do prefer iced coffee, or at least a cold brew.
Iced.
Doesn't need to be. Oh my gosh, words all fell out of my head. Doesn't need to be hot first for me, but I do enjoy coffee that's cooler. I also do that with my tea, though. I will brew a mug of tea at the beginning of the day, and then I'll drink it around 5 p.m. when it's like ice cold. So,
fair enough.
Okay. Have you ever made cold brew yourself before?
I have, actually. It's quite fun.
It's a pretty easy process, too.
Mm-hmm. The biggest issue is if you don't have a nice contained pouch to keep your coffee in, you do need to sift it out. Which, it's not too hard. But if you're doing like a flavored cold brew, like I tried to do once, you can't just let everything stay settled at the bottom. You do have to shake it up to get those flavors all mixed through before before dumping it out.
And you also got to make sure that you do like the coarser you can get the coffee ground, the better. So if you already buy like ground coffee, you're kind of like, well, I got to use what I have, like, so then it can get a little bit silty. Yeah, if you use like a finer ground coffee, you get like a silt in it that doesn't filter out. It just kind of gets a little dirty almost.
And I mean, paper filters are atrocious for cold liquids. They only work for hot liquids. And cheesecloth is way too open, so it's like you get the worst of all worlds.
Yeah, you know what actually works surprisingly well that I've done before? Reusable tea bags. Oh. Not like a tea ball. A tea ball will not work. It's too like loose. But like those
super
like really
fine mesh,
thin,
like almost. I think it's like
tea
metal,
bags.
Right?
No, you can get them as like paper almost. They're basically like a coffee filter. But they're for like loose leaf tea.
I love that.
I prefer them to like a tea ball, and I know that like they're not reusable where the tea ball is, but tea ball has a lot thicker of holes. So even sometimes when you use a tea ball, like little like grime of the leaves will get everywhere. The paper reusable filters for tea don't. And you can put like thick coffee grounds in them, tie them up at the top, and then just toss them in water for like 24 hours, and boom, you just pull them out and you're good to go.
Nice.
That's my at-home cold brew tip. Because if you try and make if you actually buy the cold brew filters, they're for like half a pound of coffee.
Yeah, and it's absurd. No one needs that much coffee, not commercially. Maybe if you want to, I would recommend getting that. No, not even if you want to make it for a whole week, because you don't want to make cold brew coffee that long in advance.
Yeah, and you can. It does keep better than like most coffee, but no reason if you. Yeah, I would recommend for like a couple bucks, you can get them at pretty much any grocery store that has loose leaf tea. And you just get like 100 of them's like $2.
My parents got us when Nina first moved up here last year a big. It kind of looks like a Chemex pitcher, except it's not for hot liquids. and it has a fruit infuser and a tea or coffee infuser attachment, which has a super fine metal filter. And that has worked out quite nice for overnight cold brew and stuff like that. You know, you pop it in, it's just like, boom, just leave it there for 18 hours or so, and you got coffee for the next couple days. But, you know, it doesn't work too great for me when my mug is a 20-ounce coffee mug. It does drain very fast. So, you know, you got to be smart.
I do currently, I have a 16-ounce big mug that I'm drinking out of right now.
Nice.
But the problem I've had with really fine metal filters is I can never get them truly clean.
That's a huge issue. I miss so much. And someday when I have a house, I'm going to have like some sort of industrial sink action going on, because I miss that high powered water jet.
Oh, yeah.
That knocks everything out.
Yeah.
It's like you got scalding hot water that you're blasting out. It's perfect. It removes stuff stuck to your pans. It does everything you want it to.
Yeah, and that's been my problem with like a French press. Is like I like a French press. They're fun. They're interesting. But I after like a year or two of having it, it just seems like I can't get it fully clean, and it always has like a bad taste.
Yeah,
to it.
I don't like that you feel like you have to replace your French press every couple of years just because of the flavor.
Yeah, and I don't know if someone listening right now might have like a French press life hack secret tip that I should be knowing, but I just don't. So feel free to share that if you have a French press tips and tricks of how to get them clean after like a long period of use.
Because it's not
I would love.
It's not like the coffee stain issue, because coffee stain is easy enough to get off. Like you know,
and it doesn't
baking soda, toothbrush, boom, good to go. But a bigger issue ends up being things like, you know, you can't take the spring off the bottom, so you can't really clean around the spring too well, and you know after a while you just start to have stuff that builds up that you never realized you weren't getting, and it's too late.
Well, the French press that I use for the most part is my it's like my little travel cup. That's like a French press and cup all in one, which has been amazing, and I've had it for years now. But it's getting to the point where like it's even harder to clean than a French press, because it's got like it's so compact, and like there's so many like things you can like take apart and pull apart that like it's kind of a, I don't know, it's gotten to be a nightmare, because it also like you don't just take the grounds out immediately after you pour the coffee, because it is the coffee cup. So it gets those grounds in there, and they're in there the entire time. And if you're like camping, they'll be in there for like a couple days. And so it just kind of like it's gotten over the years pretty grimy, and I've gotten it to the point where I don't even use it anymore, because I can't get it as clean as I'd like it to be.
I feel that.
But I love it. I love having it. It's a fun time.
No. It's if anyone does know nice ways to clean out stuff like that, please do let us know. I don't. And this is like dumb of me, because I don't actually stray away from like harsher cleaning chemicals in my like average everyday life, right? Like I love bleach. It is the only thing that I use to clean messes and stuff like that, because it's like I know it works, right? But for some reason,
I guess.
Well, like if I've got like, you know, showers get like weird and funky, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to use bleach on this. I'm not going to use something else, because I know bleach will take care of shower funk.
Not to have a country flex, but I don't really ever get any kind of shower gunk. I clean my shower once every month or two, and I don't. It's only out of because I'm like, well, I should clean my shower. I haven't forever.
Well,
it doesn't get any buildup. I think it's because I've got like, you know, I'm out in the well country.
Well, here's my issue, right? It's an older curtain, and I think that like right off the bat is already the entire problem, and it should just be replaced and fix all my problems.
I would recommend a cloth shower curtain, and then just wash it when you wash towels.
What we usually do is a cloth on the outside and a plastic on the inside, and I've copied my dad's old technique of when you want to wash it, you grab your two scuzziest towels and you toss it in, still with the plastic. The plastic just doesn't hit the dryer. And that's worked out well for us in the past.
Okay, yeah, I've been converted to the land of a double cloth outside, cloth inside, and then I just toss the whole thing in the washer and dryer with the towels.
There you
go. I think that works really well, but the only problem is like you do have to wash it way more often, because it is
cloth.
You do have a piece of cloth
it
getting
will
wet
reek of mildew eventually. Day.
Yeah, so I just wash it like once a week.
Our bathroom also doesn't have a fan, and I think that is the actual real problem, is that there's just not a lot of airflow.
Mine does not either. Yeah, I think a fan in my bathroom would definitely be a big big improvement.
And the hallway between the bedroom and the living room and the bathroom and the rest of the house is about as wide as let's say an open bathroom door. So when we're not in the bathroom, we still keep the door closed because it's like, I want to be able to walk into the bedroom without smacking my head on the door, or go into the computer room without smacking my head on the door, or just walk from the computer room to the bedroom without having to close the door to get around it. So
I get it. I see that. I feel like bathroom fans are one of those things that have become like a mandatory inclusion in like everything over the last 15 or so years. Because I don't remember them being everywhere before that. Like, I mean, obviously, like public buildings, I think they're mandatory, and I think they have been for a while, just for sanitation reasons. But I feel like in like my friends' houses growing up and in my house growing up, I don't really remember people having bathroom fans.
Older houses don't seem to have that kind of ventilation going on.
I think it just wasn't seen as necessary. But I mean, in hindsight, you're like, yeah, this is why your bathroom is like...
This is why you're all dying of like mold.
Mildewy and grimy. Yeah. So this is where the mesothelioma is coming from.
Exactly.
I mean, not to be the counterpoint, but I lived in real old houses. My first 2 houses growing up, and both of them had bathroom fans.
See, my parents' house is a rather old house as well, and it had a bathroom fan, but it was definitely a added post bathroom fan.
Oh, I'm sure mine were as well, but they definitely did have them. At least when we moved into the second one. I assume probably not when we moved into the first one. I don't know. I was not alive.
It was also only ever the second floor bathrooms that had fans for me in old houses.
When I was growing up, my house was built in 1861.
Okay.
Whatever.
But no, I literally did grow up in a house.
It was the bathroom with a shower, had a fan, and then the bathroom downstairs that was added on to the kitchen didn't have a fan, and that was just how life was. I always assumed that it was shower bathrooms had fans and other bathrooms didn't for some reason. And now being in another old house, I'm starting to think, maybe it's just first floor bathrooms didn't get renovated with fans because it's inconvenient to cut into the floor space of the floor above, depending on how much space you actually have,
Yeah, I think it definitely is harder to add in post. Not impossible, depending on the number. Like if there's a floor above it, it's like, don't even bother.
I mean, like,
you can.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind having something where it's like, it hangs down below the ceiling, just like a pipe and a fan that leads to the window that's right there, and just like have the window be shorter and the top of it's just like a little air vent, I could work with that. But also
I think you could probably do that without like that seems like not the most insane thing to do. I mean, if I'm obviously you're in an apartment, so you wouldn't be the one to do it.
Well, that's the thing. If I'm looking to vent air out of my bathroom during a shower, then I can just crack the window open and then close it again. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. That's always an option. That's always what I've done in the past, at least. Even when like I've had a fan, it doesn't usually work enough. And if I have a window to open to let steam out, I try and do it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I hate steam in my bathroom when I get out of the shower because I like it being warm, but I also need to be able to see in the mirror so I can do something with my hair. Because the longer my hair is, the harder it is to find my part. And I got to be honest, it's been real frustrating recently because my hair on the sides it's almost 3 inches long right now. I haven't gotten my hair cut since when we did the in-person episode. I don't know if you've tuned in any of my streams lately. You got long hair.
My hair is finally past my shoulders. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not think my hair would grow out that long. I thought it is falling out because my hair, I shed everywhere. It's a problem. I didn't think that my hair would have enough structural integrity to actually hold its like length that well. But yeah, no, my hair is past my shoulders now. I've literally not gotten my haircut in a year now. Like I just not even a trim, which I need to get it trimmed because that's like just to clean it up. But I kind of really like the look. I'm actually been hugely into the long hair life.
It's not bad, right? It's just different things to take care of, yada yada yada.
Oh, it's a lot more work. Don't get me wrong. Like I like, and drying it is actual effort rather than just throw a towel on my head and be done with it. But I like it. I think I just really enjoy the look. It's kind of a look that I've always wanted to make work for me. And I finally can now, which makes me very happy.
Nice.
I am trying to get something working real quick. And Noah, I sent you a thing, but I'm not going to have you play it, that second one yet.
You haven't sent me anything, have you?
That's incorrect. Check your Discord, you stupid bitch.
Okay.
So
you've only sent me one thing.
Well, I know I deleted the other one because I'm waiting for the next thing to generate.
Okay.
So I want to talk about if hold on one sec. Oh, I hear you. Okay, yeah. Jackson, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, you can get that. So I want to talk about fucking a thing I discovered the past week or so, and apparently it's relatively new. It's only been around like publicly for a month or so, or it keeps going up and down.
Because I also want to talk about fucking.
I also want to talk about fucking. It's it's called 15 AI, and the very simple pitch for it is it takes voice clips or specifically character voices, but it could theoretically be done for anybody. And using AI and text-to-speech software makes specifically different characters from different TV shows and games say things. It is made by, I believe, an MIT. It's part of his an MIT grad student. And it is extremely fucking cool and very, very silly.
Mm-hmm.
If I can, I'm just gonna give me one quick second. I'm gonna click my voice meter. I sent this to Noah as well already, but I would like to just play for you guys a quick little snippet from one of the voice clips that it generated because I think it's just neat.
Is it Yoda talking?
It is not. Yoda is actually one of the voices that he has said he would like to bring in as one of the. He has a whole list of like characters that he would like to be able to do. Yoda is difficult because obviously you have to like.
There's a lot of.
Well, it's also because of the way that he speaks. Like he talks backwards, so it's very difficult to do. His site does have all three of the main voices from Portal 2, or from Portal, GLaDOS, Wheatley, and the turrets. It has every character from TF2, a bunch of apparently a weirdly huge amount of My Little Pony characers.
Everything you've said so far makes sense.
I was gonna say that doesn't surprise me at all, if we're being honest. But continue.
Yeah, well. It doesn't have a huge number, but it has quite a few. It has quite a few voices. I am a huge fan of let me just play this out.
What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little pretzel bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda, and I have over 300 confirmed kills.
So, as you can see, it is. And it's obviously, not perfect by any means. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it is. But for being completely AI generated, it's really fucking cool, you guys. I think it's a really neat.
Yeah, I won't lie. That's neat. Better than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Noah,
It reminds me of that one text-to-speech site where they have like a whole bunch of different voices you can use. Because I remember one time when I was back in the streaming days, I played through one of the Pokemon games, and I had all of the dialogue. Like I went into like a Reddit thread that they had like all the dialogue listed up for the game for I don't even know what reason. But they had like all of the dialogue written, and so I just copy pasted it in chunks and had it be read in the Yoda voice.
That's amazing.
I do like that.
That's exactly the energy
the
this
game.
has.
Everyone was talking to me as Yoda.
The thing that I think is personally super neat is that it because it's AI generated, if you keep hitting the generate button, it isn't the same every time. So if like the inflection isn't quite right, you can inflection. If the inflection isn't correct, if the inflection is not quite right, you can change it up a little bit. Noah, do you have actually? I will send you the other one back. Noah, Jackson. No, I know you have. Jackson, have you played through Portal?
Nope.
Okay, never mind then. I will not do. Then the other one, I will save for later. But very cool. It's just a really neat program, and it's being actively developed. Like new thing, like they just pushed like a bunch of updates super recently. Early in he just pushed V11 in late December 2020. I don't know. I just think it's a cool idea, and it has a ton of meme and tomfoolery potential, especially because it is completely free to use. The only thing in his FAQ is just, hey, put somewhere anywhere that it's made with 15 AI. Like that's it. I don't know. It's just really neat. It only takes it's borderline real time. It takes about 15 seconds for up to 300 characters to generate in the voice, which is extremely fast for even for a regular text to speech, but especially for one that uses just a bunch of different voices from a bunch of different places.
That is interesting. I gotta be honest, it strays into the area of me being like, that kind of scares me a little bit, because like that's a direction of technology that I'd rather we stopped pursuing and did other things instead. While it's dead fascinating, I'm like, I don't know that I like that, but at the same time, like I love that people are able to. I don't know. I just love the amount of thinking that has to go into a project like this that like I know he has like a Patreon and he's like getting support to make this item, but also
not much though. Like not much at all. $500 a month is not a lot of money for a Patreon.
No, but like it's still like a decent amount of money that he can afford to actually devote time versus like you know, something else. I don't know. It's nice that enough people like this that they're supporting him to try and make it happen.
Yeah, especially because it is, I mean, right now, right? It is basically just used for memes. Like, right, like it's not good enough to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's good enough to sound enough like the characters. Like the TF2 ones are really, really good. I really like all the TF2 ones, but even then you have to generate it like 3 or 4 times before it sounds proper.
In fairness, the TF2 characters, they already do be sounding like an AI generated their speech half the time.
Well, and that's the thing is I was going to bring up, there's HAL 9000, which sounds amazing because it is already robotic.
Yeah.
Any of the Portal 2 characters, I'm going to play a GLaDOS one near the end of the episode. Any of the Portal 2 characters sound amazing because they are already all robots. And so like, of course they're going to sound like robots.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's very, very cool. It is definitely, there is a aspect of like kind of a thing that is going to become, I think, more and more of a conversation as the years go on. The conversation of like, at what point does your voice no longer belong to you? If that makes sense. Or what,
right now.
At what point does the voice actor's voice no longer belong to them?
Yeah.
Because it is like, in essence, you are the perfect example, the soldier from Team Fortress 2. I'm blanking on his name right now. Give me 2 seconds. I'll have the actual voice actor's name. Rick May. Rick May died last year.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sad. Huge, extremely, extremely heartbreaking. Apparently, just a hugely cool dude. Just very chill and very fun. With this, in a very weird way, his voice kind of lives on in a way that it couldn't just from the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I cannot sit here and make a judgment on that because on some level it'd be very cool to be able to bring back like what they did with Star Wars, right? Like when they brought back Tarkin and Fisher and Tarkin and Leia. I can't remember Tarkin's actor's name. Brought back Tarkin and aged down Leia. It was surreal and it made a lot of questions of, is this an okay thing to do? And I don't know the answer because I think that it very much depends on the circumstances and the reasoning.
Mm-hmm. Peter Cushing's,
yeah, God.
Or Cushing,
R.I.P. Cushing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cushing and Fisher brought them both back for AI stuff and through deepfakes, which actually is AI. Never mind.
And that was a hard no for me. They were very uncomfortable to look at.
I still never had a problem with. I had more of a problem with Leia than I did with Tarkin.
Are you kidding me? Tarkin looked fake.
Besides looking a little plasticky, I think the reason I was more okay with it is because I'm so used to seeing that it looked very video gamey, but I don't know, just the very fact that they could do it at all was insane to me. It's like when people were yelling about Tron Legacy aged down Jeff Bridges
for the whole thing or just for part of it.
Have you seen Tron Legacy?
I have not. I couldn't care less about Tron.
Oh, I'm actually surprised. I think you'd actually kind of enjoy it. If nothing else, the soundtrack is fucking phenomenal. They actually Daft Punk is re-releasing the soundtrack, like an extended soundtrack. It's gonna be amazing.
What if
anyway?
DaBaby was re-releasing the soundtrack?
What was it? What?
DaBaby.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You might have heard of him before.
I think I probably have.
You probably. I don't think you have.
He's DaBaby.
DaBaby, yeah, of course.
I feel like you think I'm joking.
I feel like.
Do you think I'm making a joke here?
I'm rolling with it because I was trying to get back to a point before I forgot about it, and then I'm already.
I feel like you don't know who DaBaby is.
Oh, obviously not. No. For the entire movie, Jeff Bridges plays both himself and the main antagonist, who is like essentially a younger clone of himself. Not really how it works, but don't worry about it. It's a dumb it's a movie. And that people had a lot of problem with when that came out for the exact same reason. They thought it felt a little bit wrong, a little bit plastic, a little bit fake. The reason it worked there is because the whole movie takes place inside of a computer. So like it kind of already had set the stage for things aren't quite like perfect, if that makes sense, and like a weird plasticiness to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem is that Star Wars didn't have that same thing. I think if they hadn't gotten so goddamn close to Tarkin's face for that, it would have been perfectly fine. But they had to do that.
Had issues with him everywhere he was.
Really wild.
100%.
I definitely didn't. I had more of an issue with Carrie Fisher with young Leia.
See, I had almost no issues with her because I could tell it was somebody else. They found someone who was borderline a face cast of Carrie Fisher.
Wasn't it her
and
daughter?
tweaked it. No, it was a Russian actress, if memory serves.
That's what it was. I mean, they had the Tarkin. Hold on, Tarkin body actor maybe. Guy Henry. Yeah, Guy Henry wasn't a terrible like choice for it. Honestly, give it another like. I think give it another like 5 years, and that tech would be like not even a thing that we'll notice.
I don't like that. I got to be honest. I don't like that at all.
So I haven't really spoken up, but I am a hard no in the camp of all of this.
Okay.
Just use people. There, you know how many billions of people there are that are like real and alive and doing things that you don't have to like continually like jerk off to the same 12 people for the rest of eternity. That's also the problem.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not a problem. I'm just saying that's why.
Well, I'm just saying that also adds up to my reason why I'm against it, though.
I think that's a totally valid reason. I think I have no problem being against it. I feel weird about it because I am very much in kind of like Noah said, the two camps of it's very, very cool and also it's very, very weird and can and is very problematic if not done appropriately.
Yeah, I think it's more weird than it is cool, and I actually don't think it's cool. I think it's unsettling at best, and like I don't know, weirdly, I guess reductive towards any form of progress. Really?
Yeah, I should clarify. Worst? I think the voice mimicking is fun. I do not like face mimicking whatsoever.
Wild.
Yeah, I don't like either.
I don't see there's a difference.
One's your face, one's your voice.
One is a recognizable face that people are using already with the voice thing or with someone doing an imitation voice, one of the two. The other is making SpongeBob say the copy pasta.
Navy SEAL meme. But
it has
that's what it is right now.
Yes, I know. That's the big caveat of
I see what you mean.
When it stops being cool even remotely and is just like, this is very uncomfortable and I don't like it at all.
Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna handle that as we get deeper and deeper into this stuff, because
they're not gonna make laws about it and it's just gonna happen and people are gonna accept it because it's just gonna be what happens.
Yeah, I mean, even the one thing air quotes, the one thing you can always trust is your eyes, and like you can't do that anymore. Get fucked. There can be literal video evidence of something happening. It could just be deep faked.
Yeah, no, like every single like frat boy who loves gaslighting is literally pumped about this right now.
Oh yeah,
like yes, I can tell my girlfriend that she's crazy and I won't seem like I'm wrong because someone made a deep fake of Carrie Fisher. Hell yeah, that's my impression of every frat guy right now.
I mean,
they probably would have said it in a different way, but
probably
the character needs some fleshing out.
It's wild. It's a very wild, wacky, scary thing. I don't necessarily think it's inherently bad. I think that it, like many things, can be bad.
I just don't see what the benefit is.
We can make SpongeBob say the Navy SEAL copy pasta.
I don't see the benefit still. Where's the positive? I don't know. I just don't.
I said what I said.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't. I don't
know. I think that much like, okay, so like deepfakes, right? Deepfakes, there's a reason that they're banned just about everywhere right now, right? You can't. There are obviously plenty of places, but like if you're just surface level looking for like deep fake tech and like trying to do it, you have to do at least a tiny bit of digging for it. And there's a lot of work that you have to put into it, right? Mm-hmm. To make it work right, you have to have, thousands of pictures of people, and even then it doesn't always feel perfect.
See, because here's my issue with it, right? It is very fun to have this technology so for like an old war movie, so you can make like, oh look, and now World War III kicked off when JFK was president, so now you get to have JFK say some My Fellow Americans type speech about World War III, so that you can have JFK run in the TV in the background, like, yeah, sure, I get that. Like the concept of that is very fun. The fact that you get to use his actual face rather than someone just dressing up as him, it's fun. Mm-hmm. And like, I like the concept of those things. It's like, oh, neat. Using it for like to help model in video games, which is I'm pretty sure where most of this stuff started as.
It sure did. That models in video games and CGI recreations. Sure is.
And I like that too. I like that it lets people do more realistic things with characters, because if there's one thing that I was reminded of playing through, older games, Mass Effect and Dragon Age both are really bad about this. Everyone's eyes are so dead. They don't look at anything. They're just kind of there. And you know what? It is kind of nice to have someone in like a lot of the newer games where it's like you can tell that they're actually looking at something right? Like you can see their eyes go over to the side and it's like, oh, they're looking at the thing over there that I also could pay attention to for different story beats, but it doesn't matter if I do or not. You know, like those type of things, it's very cool. And I love that element of it a lot. But as soon as, but there, it's so difficult to draw a line where it's like, haha, but you can't cross this line.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know how do you place that line? What do you do with that line? I don't know. That's where it's like,
it's kind of the problem with AI in general, honestly. Like it's the problem that eventually as a society we're going to have to address, which is either we have to ban all AI at this line, right? Like, oh, you can use the faces and voices of somebody who's been dead for over 50 years. Nothing else. Full stop. That's it. That's the line in the sand. Or we're going to have to find a way to get around it, right? Like AI in general, we're either going to have to say you cannot make an AI that, I don't know, connects to the internet, right? The paperclip problem. I think we've talked about it before. You cannot make an AI, a true AI that connects to the internet. You cannot. You can dump whatever information you want into it. You cannot allow it to connect to the internet. Or you have to say you can do your AI, but here are the very, very, very strict rules on it. Because there's no other way to do it. Like that's just an eventuality that we have to deal with. And I think that with deepfakes and with this to a lesser extent, obviously this is kind of just fun silliness. The 15 AI is just kind of silly fun meme, but it does work. All these voices, like that SpongeBob voice here. Let me pull it up. He says it on the site how much he has that's only 27 minutes of data used for training. That's it. That's nothing. It took the AI. It is 27 minutes of data that the AI inputted, and then it can output obviously not a good, but a passable SpongeBob impression. If that is used for, I don't know, let's say the president, for example, like who has weird to say, more than 27 minutes of audio like out there, it is very, very, very abusable. And I don't think there's a way yet to tell at a certain point. And I don't know how you even begin to make that a possibility, because I don't think it's going to be a thing that like people are going to turn away from. I think it is kind of unless it is banned and like you can't do this, I think that it is only going to become harder and harder to differentiate. And I don't know how to stop that, how to make that an easier thing to differentiate beyond just, well, they said it wasn't an AI, so it wasn't. You know, what do you mean? They said it wasn't a deep fake. Why would you think it was? What the fuck? And I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if there is a way to
burn
fix that yet.
All transistors.
But eventually.
I think we're a little past the transistor stage, though. I think that might
what
not
do you
be
think
as helpful.
makes up computers,
No.
Noah? A shitload of transistors. That's really all it is.
Shoot.
They just keep adding more transistors onto things and putting them in smaller packages, and that's literally all that computing power is.
Okay, fair enough.
Get rid of it.
In my mind, transistors, I'm still thinking of I'm like, oh yes, that transistor radio.
Yeah, it is kind of weird to think that like.
I just think of the Supergiant game Transistor.
Oh, we got a gamer in the chat here. But yeah, no, like I don't know. I just. I hate
No matter what,
technological
it's
ethical questions because the solution is always just like stop fucking doing that.
Yeah, I hate that too, because to me that isn't a solution. Why? Right? Personally, because stopping, like, there are
how do I do bad thing but make bad thing not that bad?
We're gonna avoid the obvious like extreme human experimentation problematic thing, because I that's another I don't want to tell myself I just don't want to have that conversation necessarily, but like the argument of like, oh, you've heard people say, oh, what if we just took a bunch of like pro athletes, pumped them full of drugs, and saw how far the human body could go.
I've never heard someone say that, and that's weird.
Really? No, back me on this.
No, I've seen that a lot. That's
what the
I've
fuck
seen
are
a
you
lot of
guys
people,
doing?
It's just like one of those things I've seen retweeted around where it's like, no, I get the idea of keeping drugs out of sports, but what if we also had a division of sports that was the drugs are allowed to be here, just to see how far we can go. Always portrayed as a joke, taken seriously by some people. Well,
and I would like to be that guy. That's terrible. Obviously, that's a terrible idea. And also, in the parallel of technology, I don't know that you can stop it.
Why?
Like, I don't, because people are always going to search for new information, to try new things, to discover new things, to build new things. That's going to always be a thing. Even if things are illegal, deepfakes, as far as aren't maybe not illegal, but they're banned on basically any site that you can post a deepfake onto. Even then, like, even with that, people are still actively developing more deepfake tech, because that's what people do. People will always try to discover new things, and I don't think I don't think trying to do new things is necessarily a problem. I think trying to do new things depends. It has so heavily on like, but what, why? You know what I mean? Why are you doing it? And I don't think I can say, oh, they're doing it because they advanced technology versus, oh, they're doing it because they want to deep fake Carrie Fisher into a porn parody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I can be the judge of that, but I don't think that I'm doing it because I want to advance technology is necessarily wrong. I just think that there are ethical lines, and I don't think I have the say on them. And I also don't think that necessarily just don't do it is necessarily the right answer.
I can disagree though, because I think that if you're out there and your goal is I'm just doing it to advance technology, be like, okay, we'll advance a different fucking technology. You know how much help a lot of industries could use if you're using your technical prowess to instead only be like, yeah, I want to make porn of celebrities. Why don't you just I don't know, fucking read a book on biomedicine or something. Help somebody that needs it more than the film industry needs dead people to still be around.
That's super fair. The only thing I have for that is that if that's not what they're interested in, I don't think that it makes any sense to take something. It doesn't make sense to take me, who's very interested in film, and say, go write a book.
If it was go write a book, we need more books, or do something that is ethically very ambiguous and not helpful, I think you'd be better off to write a book though. Or maybe work on a facet of cinema that is not actively creating ethical dilemmas and not adding anything to the conversation except for the ability to get rid of the jobs of people who want to do a Jim Carrey impression.
That is fair, and that is super fair. I think that I'm talking more broader AI.
Well, I don't care about AI.
I can agree with that.
Personally, I'm not for it, but I think that there's definitely facets of AI that have benefits to them. And even though they are, obviously, there's a lot of ethical questions to be raised, and most of it can be solved in the idea of what you can and can't code into the AI or allow it to expand upon. I think for specifically AI that's designed to recreate the likeness of people, either vocally or visually, I think that there's no reason for people to pursue that. And if they do want to further the technology and they really are interested in AI, maybe make an AI that does something that's not make porn of dead people.
Yeah, that's fair.
Insert yourself into another facet. And obviously, I'm not a expert on the subject, nor do I believe I have the ability to tell people what they can and can't do. But I will make fun of you on the internet.
Yeah, no, and you should, and that you absolutely should make, because the reason that this is one of those things that's kind of important to always be talking about a little bit, because if we forget it's happening, it's going to just become a bigger and bigger problem, and it's just be something that conversations are constantly happening and re-evolving and re-examining. So
I don't know. I just for me personally, I think that the idea of recreating the likeness of dead people so that your Disney movie can have characters that you like in it is beyond fucked up and pointless.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would agree. I think that absolutely go and get the actual people to do it, or get people who are
or if they're dead, just let them be dead people. People are allowed to die, and I feel like they're
absolutely
losing their ability to die. But it also
is very normal for people to try and make things not dead.
It is, and that's the unhealthy
it's super normal. Everybody ever has. It's why we still read fucking Shakespeare when there are objectively better fucking
I don't know if we read Shakespeare because we want to make him undead. I think it's more about the way that the writing changed, the way that theater was written.
I think we read Shakespeare because we wanted to come back as a zombie.
That's a weird take, but I'm not going to talk about it.
You're not going to say I'm wrong.
I don't have the energy to fight him. I've been fighting a lot of really stupid fights this week, and I gotta be honest, this would be the stupidest fight I could fight.
I'm fighting for my life.
That we want to bring Shakespeare back as a zombie. So I gotta be honest, dude. I can't be fucked to have an opinion on Shakespeare.
No, it really do be. I'm fighting for my life out here. Not to belittle what you're going through, but also I couldn't not think of that audio.
That's valid. That's so valid.
Noah, Dan's just hey, Noah, do you think Shakespeare should be a zombie? Noah's just I'm fighting for my life. You guys want to talk about Chinese New Year?
But Noah. Yeah, let's talk about Chinese New Year. Let's move off of this AI conversation.
This year, obviously, there is going to be a Lunar New Year.
Cool. Does that not happen every year?
No, it does.
I just realized what I said in response to that. Oh, cool. Wait a minute.
Yeah, there's gonna be one this year. No, there's one every year.
Damn.
Fun fact that usually, obviously, not a big Lunar New Year guy. I don't have anything against it, but historically, I don't ever celebrate it because we don't really celebrate it in the U.S. But this year, I'm pulling out all the stops. Because, well, several reasons, but the chiefest of which is this year Lunar New Year is on my birthday, and it's the year of the ox, and that's the year I was born in.
Okay, so this is your year, is what you're trying to tell us.
It's kind of my year. Also, like, Jupiter and Neptune are going to be in Aquarius all year long, so you know what that means, because I don't.
I was about to say, I don't even a little bit, but please
me neither.
tell
I was hoping you would. Yeah, apparently, like, all the planets are going to be in Aquarius all year, so, you know, and it's my birthday year. I have a birthday this year, everybody.
Damn.
But no, I think that's gonna be fun. Like, so I am gonna, like, you know, make like dumplings and kind of just like I've been looking at like some of like the Lunar New Year traditions that like are big in like China. Because yeah, it's fun, and it's literally like, so I'm gonna be 24, obviously, because there's 12 symbols in the zodiac, and it's my turn again. So the year of the ox, it's the year I was born in, and it's literally on my birthday. So big excitement, a lot of fun stuff coming up. Also, my girlfriend is Chinese, and so she's learning Mandarin. She's going to school for Mandarin, as well as other things. But you know, it's her business, I suppose. I'm not just gonna. It doesn't really matter. But either way,
you're not gonna just out what she's doing.
So that's like a lot of fun too. So like, you know, because she studied a semester in Taiwan and has been to China before, so it's all the more reason to. It's gonna be a fun Chinese New Year on my birthday.
There we go. On my
birthday and the year I was born in. I feel like that I haven't like looked it up, but that's got to be like a once in a lifetime.
It can't be that. I mean, for as many people as there are in the year, it can't be that common.
It can't. I'm sure. Yeah, no, it's got to be.
It can't be.
I mean, I'm looking at the Lunar New Year schedule because it's on a different day every year. That's the main reason I feel like it's once in a lifetime. Like, I don't even know. Oh shit! I just looked at the Lunar New schedule. I want to throw the year in there. But I don't even know if it'll fall on my birthday again in my lifetime, let alone if it will fall on my birthday in the year that I was born in. I can't see that being.
I mean, for 2029, it's the day after your birthday.
Ooh, big day for me.
Which is
wait, where are you
closest one.
Where are you seeing this at?
I'm just Googling and changing the number at the end. 2032 is the day before your birthday.
Yeah, because I know it's usually around my birthday most of the time, like late January, early February, mid-February. So I don't know. I'm curious to see if that'll happen again.
To 2040. 2040 is the next time that it will fall on your birthday, and I don't know which zodiac sign is going to be up then, but I know it's not the ox.
The ox, no. So yeah, that's the fun.
It'll be the rooster.
Wow, because you guys, I don't think it's ever gonna fall on my birthday. That's so
probably
sad.
not.
No, I was actually just thinking that too, because I'm like, what type of range are we talking about here? I'm like, it's never gonna make it to August.
No, but no, it's usually late January, early to mid February, sometimes mid January. I haven't really been keeping track of the dates most of my life because, as I've said, I haven't really celebrated it much before. I remember in school and stuff, we used to like read like folk tales and like do little like coloring events in like elementary school and stuff. But that was all the exposure to like Lunar New Year I ever really got, which apparently is not super common. Like I don't know why, but like I was talking to some of my friends and coworkers that went to different schools, and they were all like, "Yeah, we never did that."
Yeah, no, that I've never heard of anyone doing anything for Lunar New Year.
That's so weird because like I literally, like, you guys, I went to the most like backwoods, shitty ass, culturally closed off school. And every year we like would color in like the zodiac like animal that was going to be this year. We'd read the story of, like, the zodiac race. Why did my shitty ass backwoods school that literally had one language option that you could learn, Spanish? They did add German later on, but that wasn't until like later. Why did we have Chinese New Year events?
No, I got to be honest, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Which is crazy to me because I didn't realize that wasn't like the thing for other people at all. But yeah, so I'm excited for this Lunar New Year.
Sounds like you're gonna have a really good time. That's awesome.
But anyway, I did have a story to tell, and I'm not sure if it'll be good for the podcast or not. But when I was like 4 or 5, okay, so let's back this up. When I was like 2 or 3, my parents asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said I wanted to be a whale doctor.
Okay.
That's a fucking
hold
awesome
up.
job,
My parents were like,
all.
"Oh, that's pretty cool, like a marine biologist type." And I was like, "No, Mom, I want to be a whale that is a doctor."
That's so much
incredibly
cooler.
cool. Very, very cool. And so that was when I was like 2 and 3. I was like, "Yep, growing up to be a whale. That's going to be a doctor too." And my parents were like, "Did we tell him?" And then when I was like 5, I was really into Mulan, and I told my parents that when I grew up, I wanted to be a Chinese man. And my parents were like, "Well, you can't really do that. Also, at least you don't want to be a whale anymore. So it's kind of like you got to take the battles you can get, and it's like at least our child wants to grow up to be a human." So yeah, that was the happenings when I was 5. Just to be clear, I no longer want to be. I would still go for being a whale doctor.
Yeah, no. Objectively, being a doctor that is also a whale is, I'm pretty sure, just a BoJack Horseman.
Were I to be able to be a whale doctor, I would definitely still do that.
Do you think Sam, who is trying to be a real human doctor, would want to be a whale doctor?
Sure.
I don't know.
I feel like, right?
Sam, you're a doctor now. Congratulations. Would you like me to cast a spell of become whale on you?
I'm just going to shoot her a text real quick.
Sam, you want to be a whale? And no, that doesn't.
Hey, Sam, how do you feel
do you
about
want to
whales?
be one? And not like the people who spend like thousands of dollars on mobile games. Like,
yeah.
Although there are probably plenty of whale doctors by that standard.
Honestly,
I'm sure there's like a couple cardiologists out there that spent like $2,000 on Genshin Impact. It probably happened. I'm guaranteeing it. Not the majority.
It scares me so much.
Like it.
How much money some people spend on mobile games. I can't imagine having that level of disposable income.
There's also,
I was to say, the way I've always
go ahead, Dan. I was just going to make another comment.
The way I've always looked at it is just I mean, if you've got the money and that's really what you want to spend on it.
But that's the thing. Like, I get having a hobby that you sink money into. And if your hobby happens to be playing Clash of Clans instead of something like a little more constructive, then that's fine. It's your hobby, whatever. But there's a point where it no longer is okay. And in my mind, once you start spending more than $100 a month on well, you know what? No, I'll be generous because some people have a lot more disposable income than I can think of as disposable income. So let's say you have $400 a month that you've decided you're okay with spending on Clash of Clans. That's insane. That's so much money.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. And it's one of those things where I usually operate on a sliding scale of cost to joy. Like, like I will put money into things that don't necessarily make me that happy, but I'll be a lot more happy to put things into something that like does make me happy. Right. So like I have a freaking big ass bass cab next to me. I have 3 different bass guitars. Like objectively, I do not need as many things as I do for music, but I have them because I enjoy them and I get like fulfillment
and you like
out of that.
The act of having them is
exactly like that is collecting instruments is like a legitimate form of collecting items, but then there's like literally just burning money away throwing it at a mobile game.
Yeah, and I think the thing I have like not necessarily an issue with, but that I find like weird is like, no, if you want to buy a new bass guitar, you have to buy a new bass guitar. You can't just get on the bass guitar app and get a pretty good bass guitar constantly, and if you pay extra, it gets to change to red. Yeah, it's like probably like I've played, as people know, League of Legends for like 10 years now, like since like season 2 of the game, and it's now on like season like 11 or 12 almost. I think 11. And so I've played for like 9 years, and I've spent, because there's a website you can find it, I spent like $600 on the game, and that's like that's a lot of money over 9 years. That's not that much money. It really is like less than $10 a month.
Yeah.
So it's like that's I think that's a normal amount. I mean, if I was having like a subscription to World of Warcraft, it would have been a lot more than that by now. But I have friends that have spent like over $2,000 on the game. And again, over like 9 years, that's not that crazy, but I still think that like that's a lot of money. Like, and the thing that gets me the most is it doesn't make you at all get an advantage in, like, it's not like you have to do it. It is completely optional. You're not walled by anything. It's merely cosmetic. Like it doesn't affect. You can play the exact same game, especially for like if you played for so long. There is nothing you need to purchase to go like play more. When you first start out, some of the characters and whatnot, you don't have. Heroes. But yeah, like you can get to the point where you've got all the characters before it's super long, or at least you get the ones you're interested in. And there's always free ones that you can pick. But after you've played for a certain amount of time, you have all the characters. There's nothing for you to buy that would change your gameplay. It's only cosmetic. And then people still continually buy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I understand. Don't get me wrong. I definitely understand. I've spent money on cosmetics before, right? Not much, but like $10 here, $20 there, over probably maybe $100 since I started playing video games in general, right?
Yeah.
So I get cosmetics, but spending cosmetics on is like a rare special occurrence for me. It's like, oh man, I'm gonna treat myself to, oh, look at the new Pathfinder skin for fucking Apex. It's so good.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend money on it because I don't need it. It's not doing anything for me. It's just making me look pretty.
Yeah. Well, and like, but I also at the same time, like, if someone's like, look at the new like Pathfinder skin, that's my favorite character. That's a character, right? Not a game mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like the D&D kind of game, the RPG. But
Adorable.
so yeah, you're
But
a
also
Pathfinder
valid.
character. So like they got a new skin, and you're like, this looks really cool. It makes them look like I don't know, like a samurai or something. You're like, I love samurai. So you're like, it's $10. You know what? I play this character a lot. I'll spend $10. I think there's nothing wrong with that either.
Exactly. I'm gonna put the time in. I'm looking at the back of this character's head often
I
enough
want to see the back of a samurai.
that it matters to me. Yeah.
Speaking of samurai, I've still been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, nice.
Not done. Not done yet. Probably not even that far along, honestly. I don't know how long the game is, but like it keeps telling me I'm still in the first act, and I've just been kind of like running around and hanging out with like foxes.
Maybe it's a Cyberpunk problem where the first act is like a quarter of the fucking game.
No,
Spoiler alert.
Thank you for laughing at that. The first act should be about a third of the game.
If it's a 3x structure.
Yeah, or half, I suppose. If it's 2x structure.
Or a 20%.
I have never seen a 5x structure.
Oh, really? 5x structure is my favorite act structure.
And this was why you need to read Shakespeare, I swear to God.
No, 5x structure is great.
What's in a 5x structure?
5x structure is a 5x structure is like prologue / setup, conflict, rising action, which is rising action is act 3, ends in the climax, falling action, and then essentially an epilogue.
I'm familiar with that being part of the 3x structure though as well, like where I think the delineation is just separate.
Oh yeah, no, it's just an expansion on the 3. Yeah, no, they're all.
So it'd just be a longer exposition and resolution.
It's a more pronounced exposition and resolution.
I don't know if I prefer that. I kind of like the
because I have a lot of problem with
game over.
The what is the actual word? What's the word?
You know, I couldn't tell you.
The inciting incident. I hate the word inciting incident because I've had different professors tell me over the years that your inciting incident is either the end of Act 1 or happens like even before the movie starts. It's the reason everything kicks off.
It's the war, and you're like, all right, we got it. The war.
All right, that's your incite. That was the inciting incident. That's the war. Cool. Somebody died in the war. That's what sets off the rest of the movie. Whereas having the 5 act structure kind of makes it, at least in my mind, a little easier to see where that should or should not lie. Like you can have your prologue be fucking Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? The first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. The prologue is that first act is literally the
everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Right? Exactly. Like that's all. That's all you need. But yeah, I don't know. I like personally 5x structure is my personal favorite. It also allows for things like a clear turning point. Some people do it where the climax is actually at the end of Act 4, and then Act 5 is really short because you actually will have you'll have your turning point of the movie where everything suddenly starts going better, and then you go to the climax, which aren't always the same thing. It literally just depends on what kind of fucking movie you're making and what kind of storytelling you want to do. Storytelling is very cool, and I wish I was a better storyteller.
Just tell better stories, Forehead.
Damn.
Oh, damn it, man!
Okay, I've got a historical quick meme for you here, real quick, kids.
Okay, go for
it. It's Julius Caesar at the siege of Lycia, and he tells Vercingetorix, just build, Forehead. Thank you, everybody. Good. That's been your historical Twitch chat meme.
That is very specific, and I'm only 70% sure I get it.
It's because he built the first siege wall, and then the Gallic reinforcements arrived, and then he was like, "What if I just built a second siege wall behind me?" And everyone was like, "Shit, I guess he can do that." And then he walled, he put a wall around the city, and then he put a wall around his wall around the city that he was inside. The biggest brain maneuver. It's literally just build, Forehead.
I like that quite a lot.
That's the meme, everybody. Is that the show? Do we have anything else?
That's our show.
We have actually a few things today.
Okay. What do we got, Noah?
We do have one of our shout outs in, or the call outs, I suppose. Dan has that one ready for us. Dan, you wanna
I actually do. So yeah, give me one. Let me make sure it's all good. Hold on. All right.
Known enemy of the podcast, Sam says, I would like to share a very terrifying and fun medical fact. You can kill rats by overdosing them on vitamin D. It causes spontaneous calcium deposition in soft tissues and turns them literally to stone.
I gotta be honest, that's the best use of the GLaDOS voice possible.
Exactly.
Because
I thought it was perfect.
I already know GLaDOS would have said that, and that's dead terrifying. Also, speaking of Sam, she would not be a whale doctor, as in a doctor that's a whale.
That's because she's a coward.
Because she's not into eating krill and it seems like a hassle.
Damn.
I mean, but if you were a whale, you would be into eating krill.
It's really
right?
you can't.
Isn't that how that works?
You got to see how the other half lives before you can make a krill judgment. You can filter feed, dog. Imagine if we could filter feed.
Imagine just throwing things at your face and then some of it goes down and some of it just doesn't.
You just walk around until you're not hungry anymore.
I mean, that is basically how I eat, yes.
Anyway,
I mean, you can do that now. If you just open your mouth and like walk around and let bugs fly into it, you can
yeah,
do that.
but we don't really get anything from it. And it's not like filtering. You have to still chew and all that.
yeah.
That's true. Well, I mean, you could just swallow. Might not be good.
But whales don't even have to do that. It just goes.
It do just
That's
be
true.
going.
It do just be going.
Incredible.
I hate that.
But we have one. We have one other thing today. Actually, a special thing, a very special thing.
I don't like where this is going. I don't like the way you're saying.
We got a new review on Apple Podcasts.
Whoa.
I do like this.
So let's see. I just want to make sure I'm saying this right. Kenzini97 says, "Pals being pals." I started listening to this podcast because Dan, and known enemy of the podcast, Sam, would always mention it at D&D. Turns out it's a great way to make work less boring since it always just feels like friends hanging out and chatting. The variety of topics and general camaraderie are entertaining, and my brain fits to half a sec. And so if you're looking for something new to have on in the background, I would 10 out of 10 recommend these guys. 5 stars.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Kenzie. Kenzie's a sweetheart.
Bless.
Known friend of the podcast, Kenzie.
I don't think
Or
we can.
Kesney,
I
as
don't
she
think
is
we can
known.
have known friends of the podcast. That seems a little counterintuitive
really?
to the
All
brand.
viewers are known friends of the podcast, except for known enemies of the podcast.
You know what? I like that a lot.
That's more like it. Make a new tier in the Discord server so that we actually know who listens to the podcast. People can opt into it. Known friend of the podcast.
That would just make me sad because it'd be like 3 people.
Yeah, but it is.
And you got the known enemies.
Anyway,
of the podcast,
I
which
can
is just
pretend.
Sam and Suzuki Joe.
I'm just imagining making a burner account for Discord that's just always online, and it's just called Suzuki Joe. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening today. If you also would like to get read out on the podcast, you can either support us for $0 a month at Apple Podcasts by giving us just a 5-star review and say something nice. We'll say it, especially if it's something nice and wholesome like this. Like, holy shit, that was great. And also, if you want to support us monetarily, you can go over to patreon.com/offtheair. We have a couple of different tiers that you can pop into. We got some bonus content coming up later this month, next month area. It's things coming. It's things happening. It's a good time. You can follow
Things
the
start coming
podcast.
and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming.
I don't know if I'd promise that much. Don't stop coming, but you know how it is.
Oh, okay.
But
So
yeah,
what you're telling me is we should start coming.
if I'm saying you should let me finish. Anyway, Twitter at The Off the Air, Facebook at OTA Podcast. Give us a follow there. You can also follow us personally at our various accounts tagged in most of the tweets, yada yada yada, on down the line. You may notice that I'm not streaming tonight. ? Dan is not streaming tonight. ?
Thursday I am streaming tonight. I'm streaming at Zam tonight.
Dan's streaming
playing some
without me
Factorio.
because he hates me. But I'm doing hair
mhm,
stuff,
mhm.
so I won't be streaming. But yeah,
No one wants to be pretty.
that's pretty much how it is. All the info is in the description. Maybe this is the year that we stop doing plugs and start pointing people toward the description. I don't know. I'm starting to feel that vibe as like something that I kind of like.
Yes.
But I don't know. We'll figure it out. What do you think, Dan?
What a weird choice for the new season.